I feel like we have to talk about this Drake and MAGA connection and how the people that typically stand for Drake are similarly the same type of people that stand for Trump. I'm Sean Longevity with Bringing Down the Band in the New Old Heads podcast. This is my Unpacked series where I typically go deeper on new old head segments, which I'm going to do today. We talked about the White House pandering to Drake with his chain, but also there's a really dope video by Jeremy Hecht that I want to watch and kind of break down a little bit further. But I want to talk about the clear issues and maybe the how one of the deeper levels to why there's such a split and divide between like a Kendrick and a Drake. And a lot of times it comes down to the type of artist they are and the things that they represent. So let's watch Jeremy Hecht's video real quick, and then we'll go over and we'll watch the New Old Heads one.
DJ Akademiks took some time off from scarfing down Cheetos or gargling on his favorite rapper's meat to reply to my tweet that now has over 2 million views. I'm gonna get back to Ak in about 20 seconds, but let me back up first. When Drake's Iceman album dropped, the White House posted this. Then a couple days later, they posted this video calling Trump the Iceman. So I tweeted this. White House has now made 2 promos using Drake's album, which he hasn't denounced yet.
Which he hasn't denounced yet, but they thought we were crazy for saying Iceman is a tone-deaf album title in this. Yes. You know, when I think about the nonchalantness, the bros of the Drake fan, the typical Drake fan, I'm not talking about the person who genuinely just likes Drake music and is socially conscious and things of that. You guys exist. But I'm talking about the people that don't pay attention to some of the subtleties that are involved with Drake. Some of the how he aligns himself with the Adin Rosses and who they're connected with in the particular type of way, how he never makes any type of political statement. Granted, he's Canadian, right? You know, his biggest market is the United States of America. But to call your album Iceman while everything else is happening in the United States of America, maybe this is part of the reason why he pushed his album back a little bit further to wait till it wasn't that hot of a moment. But this is the problem with Drake. There's a reason he doesn't speak about anything political unless it's to be clever, like the DJ Khaled Palestine line, where he's criticizing DJ Khaled for not speaking up about Palestine. But at the same time, Drake's never made any type of political statement at all, except for to criticize somebody for speaking up about Palestine. Go sit the fuck down somewhere. Better yet, don't. Be more vocal. Be more vocal. Talk about these things. The Iceman and the White House and the racist symbol, even on Drake's cover. And then I immediately thought that when I saw Drake's cover, I was like, all right, whatever. But then the White House did it. And I'm like, okay, with the MAGA chain. Okay. And then 2 days later, Trump being called the Iceman. It's like, bruh. Do you not see what you are encouraging? And it's just, it's infuriating. It's infuriating from multiple perspectives. From one perspective, it's infuriating because he should know better. It's infuriating because he doesn't know better. It's infuriating because it is continuing. There's a whole bunch of people that don't understand why this is an issue in the first place. And you're encouraging them to be more of the, it's not that deep, bro. Yes, it is. It is that deep. That is one of the clear lines between the type of fandom between that even gets highlighted in the battle, which I hate having to continually break up. But to me, this is what the battle was for. It was over where people aligned with their moral integrity and values in relations to a whole bunch of different things. It's obviously not just about this particular type of way, but it's the type of person that carries themselves and how they carry themselves within these moments. Let's continue.
But they thought we were crazy for saying Iceman is a tone-deaf album title in this climate. Akademiks responded super rationally with this. Now, I wasn't shocked that Ak was triggered. He had...
Hold up. What'd that say? Shut your bitch ass up talking about a rapper need to denounce free promo from the effing White House. I'm so glad In Like You is out there. You ain't no denouncing FN. Take that woke shit back to the FN dot era. It's Iceman season. This is another reason why I was really disappointed in the Complex Media list for putting Akademiks ¡1 when he's just a gossip. Bro, I hate these people. I hate these people so much. I hate these people so much. Let's continue.
Ak was triggered. He has been caping for his daddy for years. And not only that, but I did some digging. I have some sources to Ak, and I know that you're getting paid by the head of Truth Social.
Wow. I did not know that.
So I know why you jumped so quickly and aggressively on that tweet, and I know where your opinion's coming from. I also know that your opinion on music isn't from you either, because you're getting paid by every label.
It's bought and paid for. Akademiks is bought and paid for media. Again, it falls in line, man. It falls in line. It makes sense. When there's no integrity involved, when your opinion or everything that you do can be persuaded in one way or the other by who has the most money, as opposed to some sort of type of internal integrity, that is the battle. That is where a lot of people draw the line in the sand, and that's what is being highlighted here.
But this wasn't just about them using a song. When you align yourself with people like this, or this, or this, and call your album this, when this is happening, with an album cover that has this sign, that also kind of looks like this sign, you can't be shocked when they do this. I don't think Drake's intention was...
That was brilliant, Jeremy.
...any of this. Drake even said this on his album. But if that's not...
When I tell you dip 'cause it's ice time, bitch, ain't no fake feds, hey.
...not something that you want to be associated with, then just say something. That was my only point. Ak thinks that you don't have to denounce anything, but that's because it's something he's aligned with. For some of the biggest artists and celebrities in the world...
Because it's not that deep, bro. Not that deep. Doesn't affect me.
It was as easy as this, or this, or this, and even this. Oh, and Ak, you might want to do some history on the word woke, because I don't think you're using it right. But
yeah, he's not.
That's for another video. Iceman's going to sell incredible numbers, pour up some Henny. You can go back to arguing with...
Yeah, I mean, back when Drake said, keep that woke shit up. Bruh.
...with women online like you usually do. Oh, I almost forgot. Congrats on your new OVO chain. I know you're going to take great care of it. You earned it. I'm happy for you.
Shouts to Jeremy. Now, he was spitting in that video, and I appreciate that. I don't really think I need to say it. Let's watch the New Old Heads video here, and let's keep this conversation going and see if we can dive even a little bit deeper into this. I see the White House thing.
I did.
Besides it being extremely corny.
Scarface saying that it stood for white power. Y'all see that?
Oh, isn't it with the thing? Yeah. Which it does. It does stand for white power. The OK hand gesture, in which the thumb and index finger touch while the other fingers of the hand are held outstretched, is an obvious and ancient gesture that has arisen in many cultures over the year with different meanings. Today, in usage that dates to at least as early as 17th century Great Britain, it most commonly signals understanding, consent, approval, or well-being, which is what most of us think about, right? Since the early 1800s, the gesture increasingly became associated with the word okay, and its abbreviation okay. The gesture is also important in Hindu and Buddhist worlds, as well as in yoga, where it is known as Vitarka Mudra, a symbol of inner perfection. The OK hand gesture also forms part of the basis of a number of words or concepts in American Sign Language. It appears in many other contexts as well. In 2017, the OK hand gesture acquired a new and different significance thanks to a hoax by members of the website 4chan to falsely promote the gesture as a hate symbol, claiming that the gesture represented the letters WP for white power. The OK gesture hoax was merely the latest in a series of similar 4chan hoaxes using various innocuous symbols. In each case, the hoaxers hoped that the media and liberals would overreact by condemning a common image as white supremacists. In the case of the OK gesture, the hoax was so successful, the symbol became a popular trolling tactic on the part of right-leaning individuals who would often post photos to social media of themselves posting while making the OK gesture. The joke turned into reality. That's what that means. Ironically, some white supremacists themselves soon also participated in such trolling tactics, lending an actual credence to those who labeled the trolling gesture as racist in nature. By 2019, at least some white supremacists seem to have abandoned the ironic or satiric intent behind the original trolling campaign and used the symbol as a sincere expression of white supremacy, such as when Australian white supremacist Brenton Tarrant flashed the symbol during a March 2019 courtroom appearance soon after his arrest for allegedly murdering 50 people in a shooting spree at mosques in New Zealand. There's the history behind the OK symbol. So you may say, oh, it was a joke. The joke became reality. The joke turned into white supremacists actually using it and a commonality for white supremacists to understand each other. Like, hey, we are operating with this within this space. And let's also not remove the fact and the idea that you don't joke about stuff like this, right? With that being said, Drake has been on streams. Adin Ross, a handful of others. He's very adjacent to the manosphere, red pill, black pill movement of young adolescent boys and young men who feel ostracized and diminished in our society. It's important to understand that the term red pill doesn't inherently mean like white supremacy, but what it does mean is that there is it's like a central metaphor, if you will, that has been used by white supremacist groups to describe the process of radicalization. And so white supremacists have used this red pilling, if you will, to kind of describe like an awakening, if you will, to understanding certain super radical right-wing ideology, which is related to maybe the Great Replacement Theory, or the Great Replacement Theory is essentially like white people saying that there's like a white genocide going on in the United States of America, and I guess even beyond that. And it's like this secret plot by the elites to get rid of the white race. It's this whole nonsense, and it's rooted in white supremacy, right? I could probably sit down and write an entire video for this. You know, I'm just kind of going off the cuff right here talking about this stuff, but like, this is definitely something to where, like, if these are new ideas to you, I would definitely like look into them a little bit deeper, you know, and how, you know, and how like Drake is appealing to a certain demographic, and that demographic believes a very specific. So he goes on a stream of a people that believe a very specific way. And because that person is fans of Drake in this particular type of way, he's aligning himself with certain ideologies. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's necessarily like doing it intentionally. I don't know. It very much feels like he does. And it feels like he's going where his fans are. And, you know, he's a 40-year-old man. I wish he would grow up and make music for grown-ups. But at the same time, I'm not going to put all of that on him. I'm giving him a little bit of bail, but he is so adjacent to all this, and he encourages it. He doesn't speak out about anything. He's a child, man. He's a child. Let's continue. Does the White House's strategy successful humanize the current administration for a younger demographic?
No.
Are you sure?
It makes them cool.
Does it?
It's their sad attempt at being cool. Like,
I think to us that inherently is, we're people that pay attention to politics. We're people that pay attention to how these different sects work, right? These Drake fans don't pay attention to this stuff. They're worried about girls not liking them.
At this point, this administration,
and beating their face with hammers to change their bones.
You're not going to be cool. You're not going to get invited to the cool kids table. You've done too much.
You say that as a 50-year-old black man.
This is true.
You know what I mean? To a 20-something-year-old Caucasian man.
Well, you know what? Because but you know what? Because they in their own way, because they're at the
not even just Caucasian, even though it is primarily
UFC fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're their own version of cool. Like, I mean, sure, they had to shut down the Kennedy Center because nobody will come and perform for them. But you know, at this point, they know their bread and butter is the Kid Rocks and the
oh god,
what's the one dude who fought who goes and fights people.
The builder?
No. No, he's just a criminal.
Freaky boy.
No, I'm talking about the Jake Paul. Was that Jake Paul?
Jake. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's their way into cool. And
I miss when if somebody was listening to hip hop, you didn't have to question where their alliance lied. I miss that.
Hey, Easy, he did have dinner with President Bush.
He did, and Ice Cube had something to say about it.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter
at the time, but it
just being
because you would have outliers. You know, I often wonder, you know, like a lot of times when we talk about like how, you know, Eminem's shift into hip hop, you know, whiteness into hip hop, and how that invited whiteness in a way into hip hop. I think that's sometimes the conversation that kind of gets overlooked. It didn't just invite whiteness to become fans, you know, in that particular type of way. It invited people that, because they are white, they come from a variety of different backgrounds. To Terry's point, now you're inviting people that may not even align from ideological perspective and have any type of understanding of where hip hop was rooted in, where it came from. And even the white kids that had to learn along that process because that's not where they came from or that's not what they were taught. there's an entire demographic of fans that can entirely skip the entire lineage of what hip hop is, just focus on the rap aspect of it. At least Eminem will come out and say, fuck Trump. He'll come out and, he'll let you know where he stands. Like, he'll have the fans, but he has a very hard line in the sand about like who he is and what he does and does not vouch for. Drake is just like, come on, come be my friend. Come be my friend. You guys are all invited to be my friend. I'm not, everybody's allowed, no matter what you believe.
Hip hop in general, at one point in time, you kind of aligned yourself with the culture itself and, you know what I'm saying, identify with it. It meant something. It was cool to do, but it wasn't like the cool thing. It wasn't everybody was doing it. You know what I'm saying? You had your pocket of people that rock with it, and you had people that did something else. It wasn't as popular as it is now. I kind of missed that.
Look, I just remember when, there was a time where the rappers, it was like, look, we don't trust nobody. Yeah. These are all, look, I remember there was this commentator in St. Louis, his name is Onion Horton.
What a name.
He said, look, it doesn't matter who I vote for. I mean, he knew it mattered who he voted for, but he's like, now, mind you, this is the 90s, and, this is an old black man who you said, his name is Onion Horton, so of course. And he just said, look, I know when I wake up the next morning, the president's going to be white, and there's things that he's going to take care of that have to deal with whiteness that have before he gets to me, even if he claims to care about me. And I think that's where, at one point, look, I'm pretty sure Chuck D didn't rock with the Republican Party, but I'm pretty sure he didn't rock with the Democratic Party either. Yeah, I mean, when you would hear like Paris and all those rappers who were down with I know it's a crazy one, but who he didn't rock with nobody. Yeah. But when you talk about especially when hip hop was very much influenced by the 5% Nation, like we wasn't supposed to be rocking with no presidents anyway.
Nah, man.
No, I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for dead presidents to represent me.
Yeah. I miss all of that. I miss when politicians and rappers didn't go together and it wasn't fanfare. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
But rappers had no money then.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Easy for he had to have That's
see, I would kind of push back against that. What Terry said there, like miss when they don't go together. I want my entertainers to be educated people, and I want them to stand on the right side of things. I do not, especially in the climate that we're in right now, I do not want people to abstain. I feel like that's how we get Drakes. You can make political statements in your music without saying stuff, you know what I mean? And I think that's fine. And I think in the same way that Kendrick makes political statements in his music, or even Vince Staples, who just dropped something, you can make it in subtle ways within your art, but then you can also, like, the other side of that is like there are people that aren't public about it and don't make political statements either. I would like to see more of that, because I feel like it's really important right now for artists and citizens of especially the United States of America to be a little bit more understanding of what's happening within our world right now and what's happening around us and the things that are happening, and to be active and aware in our local communities of who's running and who's trying to fix things and who's trying to change things and who's making things worse. And I strongly want to support those people as opposed to the people that are abstaining from it because they don't want to ostracize a fan base. And I think in general, it's important to stand on something.
He was getting some money because he got invited based on the amount of money he made, not because of who he was.
Once hip hop got that huge influx of money, then everything changed, man.
Well, they also had some.
That's a really great point by Byron too. It's capitalism.
To do with, he went to the White House when Reagan was in, and a lot of the shit he was talking about was shit that
was George
Reagan.
Bush.
Oh, that was George Bush. Never mind. But George Bush was in the office too with Reagan, which had a lot to do with Reaganomics. And Reaganomics.
Yeah, quite a bit. Reagan had quite a bit to do with Reaganomics.
Reaganomics was
Iran-Contra. He was the vice president for that whole Iran-Contra affair.
Yeah, so, it kind of goes together. You were...
How much of this do you think is just the fact that you're older and more wise and you pay more attention to this stuff now? As opposed to the fact that then maybe it was easier to kind of ignore him aside.
I know Michael Jackson, the estate, Drake bought it, but part of me wanted Michael Jackson's people to come back and sue everybody. Get that off of there. Get that off your album cover. Get that off of White House.
Bought it.
Yeah, but he bought it, so I don't know, man. Like, you're right. Part of it is because just older, and we've seen so much.
Hey man, I got a copyright strike for something as little as I shared this video. This is like 2-3 years ago. It was right when the AI stuff was first coming out, and I shared a short of it was Biggie's voice rapping a Nas verse, and I'm just like, I wanted to fight it, but it's just weird. I mean, I guess technically I'm in the wrong. You know, I was just kind of showcasing how AI was moving, but you can't compete with the labels. They're never going to reply. So, and they got money. But I guess I say all that to say is like, if Drake really did care about this, then maybe about the White House doing this with his intellectual property, utilizing AI to do it, like he could do something. You know what I mean? But he's not. So yeah, whether Drake is or not internally, he is extremely MAGA coded. He is extremely right-wing reactionary coded. He is very much aligning on the wrong side of a lot of things. And I wish he had a backbone and or cared enough to stand on the right side of things. I'm Sean Longevity with Bringing Down the Band, the New Old Heads podcast. You can check out this segment and our entire Drake conversation about Iceman, breaking it down, some stuff that we liked about it, some stuff we didn't, and that and more. It was a 2-hour uncut episode you can get for becoming a member on YouTube or patreon.com/newoldheads for $5. Become a member, support independent creatives. Otherwise, go check out the New Old Heads and subscribe and check the videos that come out. All right, I'll see you next time. Peace.